Welcome.
Yeah.
Number 12.
Number 12.
Number.
Chugging along. More and more.
You know 7-Eleven, 812.
What about it?
You ever heard of 812?
I never heard of 812.
You never been to an 812?
What's an 812?
Dude, look it up. You never seen an 812?
Tell me about it. I don't have to look it up.
I've never been to an 812, but
Oh, it's like an 812 gas station?
yeah.
I actually might have seen a picture of one before.
Yeah. I don't think they're in America.
Yeah, 812. Definitely just a rip off of 610. You got a bear fact for us?
I do have a bear fact. It's about the polar bears. Polar bears are the largest land predators on Earth, standing over 11 feet high, weighing over 1,700 pounds.
That's a lot.
That is a unit.
That is a beast.
Yeah.
Seriously. But you say you want to cuddle a polar bear.
Dude.
How could you? They almost weigh 2,000 pounds, and I'm guaranteed there's more that weigh more than that.
I'll lay on top of it. I'll be a backpack.
You can find videos of people just messing around with polar bears. Or maybe you go, like, okay, can I get a polar bear guide? And go out to Antarctica. Be like, yeah, I want to go hang out with some polar bears.
I want to go polar bear sightseeing.
But then there's that chance, Just never zero.
Never zero.
It could happen. That it just completely maiming you, killing you, and eating you, just for fun.
But you know what? They're saying they're going extinct. At least it went to a good cause.
Polar bear food.
Yes.
It as in you.
Yes. I gave him I gave him enough energy for like 3 hours.
Not even. You would think. If they weigh 2,000 pounds and they're almost, would you say, 11 feet tall?
I mean, I'm 200 pounds. I'm 10% their body weight. So I would say that's a good few hours.
But what was your last bear fact that said that a bear will consume about 2,000 pounds of food a day?
90 pounds.
What?
It was 90.
It was 90 pounds?
Yeah.
Man, my memory is shot. But 90 pounds, yeah, I guess.
But I mean, polar bears are the bigger ones, so I'm sure they eat upwards of 120.
Yeah. I would say 120 would be a good guess at how much they eat in a day.
So, I mean, now if you think about it, I'm just the perfect meal.
If a bear gets thirsty, do you think it eats ice? Because it can't drink the salt water.
That is true. Where does he get his water?
It probably eats ice.
That makes sense if he's smart like that, which I'm sure he's got it like that.
Yeah, I mean, they've been around for long enough to know.
Yeah.
They've seen what the other polar bears do that die. Like, oh yeah, he drank the water. Don't do it.
You get really skinny.
Yeah. They don't get enough vitamin C. They get scurvy. I had this thought the other day. I think it was a half-drunken thought on Friday night. Maybe it was Saturday night. No, it was Friday night.
Just make up your mind.
What could you be bribed with to not tell the truth about Epstein? Let's say you're one of his guards, right? And you knew what happened.
Everything.
What could you be bribed with to not tell the truth? Not to say that we know the truth for certain. There's a lot of people who have a good idea about what happened. But let's just say in that theoretical world, if you knew exactly what happened, how he died, what could you be bribed with?
$20 is $20.
$20.
No, I wouldn't do it for $20, but
Ice cream.
I really got to think about it.
Chocolate milk. What if Bill Clinton walked up to you and was like, hey, here's some chocolate milk. Just keep it on the down low.
What vitamin does milk have in it?
I don't think it's D.
It has it has calcium.
Yeah, it's calcium for sure.
Get your calcium.
Yeah, get your calcium. It's like a life supply of chocolate milk.
Oh my God.
At that point, would you be like, okay, I'm okay with just withholding this?
Wait, I'm being forced to tell the truth and they have to bribe me to not tell the truth?
Well, no, like morally, you're like, okay, I know what happened. I'm going to tell the truth. And then someone approaches you and they're like, hey.
Bill Clinton's like, hey, what do you want? You're not saying anything. Okay.
Yeah, that's the premise.
Ooh, I'm going to be living lavish, bro.
A whole life supply of chocolate milk wouldn't be enough? I mean, what if there was a limit? He's like, okay, you know what? I'll give you this much.
I got to think about it because once you get to an older age, I mean, I can drink a whole gallon of chocolate milk today and not have a problem with it. But once I get to like my 30s,
But then you just have it like a fountain, just like dispenses it at all times.
God, we actually got one of those senior year.
Really?
After weight room, we went to the chocolate milk dispenser and got chocolate milk. That shit fucking smacked.
I bet it did. Wow.
It was awesome.
That's live. Okay. I didn't know about that. But yeah, it doesn't have to be chocolate milk. Let's just say like X amount of dollars.
X amount of dollars.
Because Bill's packing the bread.
50 million.
50 million.
Yes.
Any less, you'd be like, no, I'm telling.
He could work me to 40, but I'm not going lower than 40. I could live the rest of my life off like way less than $10 million. So like if I wanted
I think a lot of people could
live comfortably.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll live for 40.
40
million.
But 50 is the asking price.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense.
Asking 50 if he shows me the dress, like definitely below 40.
You want to see the dress?
I want to see the dress.
Like he just has it.
He's got a carbon copy.
He's got a carbon copy of the dress.
Framed in his bedroom. But it has a little switch on it and it flips to show whatever his current wife's necklaces are.
Hillary.
Yeah, her.
Okay. I never thought about that. Like you could use the dress, the Monica dress, as like a piece of bribing token. Like he just has it. Like, yeah, can I have the? It's like, I don't want any money. Just give me the dress.
Just give me the fucking dress.
I want to see it. I want to own it, and I'm gonna auction it to Eminem.
I mean, if you think about it, there's an absurd amount of weird people out there. If you auctioned off Monica Lewinsky's dress from the famous act, there's someone paying millions of dollars for that.
But I don't know the whole context of the dress. I mean, is that like the story of Monica Lewinsky's dress? Is that a real thing? Because I feel like that might be just something that someone says, like, oh, there's, probably a dress with.
No, I thought there was like a stain on the dress, and it's like an orangish, like.
Orangish?
It's like tangerine, peach, something like that. It's like a light, warm color.
Okay, I've seen this dress before. I just pulled it up.
Yeah.
It's a blue dress.
Oh, it's blue?
You didn't know it was blue?
I'm colorblind.
Clearly, it's a blue dress.
No way.
It's a blue dress. As they say. It says the stained blue dress.
As they say.
The stained blue dress. And they talked about it. It was in an FBI note in 98.
I mean, of course.
It's a navy blue dress. Oh, and they actually took it in as evidence.
I mean, like...
they call it the infamous blue dress. So, if you had the infamous blue dress, I wonder what that dress is worth, man, to the right person.
Millions.
Exactly.
Millions. Someone's going to frame that and put that on their wall.
It's like, yeah.
Like, I have...
the Lewinsky dress.
I have it.
Interesting.
I'm going to buy that. I'm going to ask Clinton, like, hey, what you know about it?
What you know about the blue dress?
Who do I got to talk to speak to Clinton?
A lot of people probably.
Yeah. He's probably under very, very heavy protection.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, like, the thing about the presidency, you only make, like, they say, like, $400,000 a year, but the benefits, you have millions of dollars in benefits. And then once you're not a president for the next rest of your life, you're under CIA protection because you know everything.
Not only that, I mean, you heard about the Obama birthday party? I guess it was over the weekend. He had his birthday party at Martha's Vineyard in New York.
I think I heard something about that.
It's this beautiful place.
I know.
Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the majority of the time, ex-presidents make all their money after presidency selling books and going to conferences and getting paid to
sponsor,
to give speeches. No, it's all about the speeches that they give.
That is true.
It's the book deals and the speeches, and they make so much money. And Obama is the epitome of that example. I mean, seriously, That guy is worth so much money. And on top of that, he gets free protection from the CIA at all times.
Yeah.
Him and his whole family. Kind of crazy.
He's got beef with someone. He's like, yeah, you want to fight me? Come on now.
Yeah.
Let's go outside. Hey, Bill, come here.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are upset about that party. But I know that I think last week, I talked about a story when I set fire to the kitchen when I was young. Basically right when we moved in here to this house 15 years ago, 16 years ago. And I said that I was trying to make popcorn. Remember that? Mm-hmm. I actually found out the real details last night, inadvertently. Because we were downstairs talking in the kitchen, me, my dad, and our cousin Tommy. And we were talking about the microwave for whatever reason. It just kind of came up. And my dad's like, this isn't the first microwave we had. This is actually the second one. And I was like, yep, I actually just talked about this. I know this story. And my dad goes, okay, then tell it. And I was like, okay, well, I was about 5 and I wanted popcorn. So I went to the pantry and I got a prepackaged microwave popcorn thing. And it had like little foil in it with like a butter package that I just kind of threw in the microwave, hit the popcorn button and walked away. I come back and it's in flames. My dad goes, no, that's not what happened. He goes, you went to the pantry and you got a can of corn. You got a can of corn and you put it in the microwave. And I caught the kitchen on fire.
You were trying to make popcorn
out of corn. I was 5 years old.
Oh my God.
At the oldest, I was 6. And I wanted popcorn. And so I just got a can of corn out of the pantry, put it in the microwave, pressed the popcorn button, and walked away. And I don't even know what I went and did. All I remember was coming back and all the cabinets were black. And the microwave was just like...
That's the best thing I've heard in months.
So we've had the second microwave for a long time.
Oh, that's funny as fuck.
Yeah, that actually happened. Yeah, that was a dumb thing that I did. But what can you do? What can you do? I thought I was making popcorn. I put a whole can of corn in the microwave.
Oh my God. I can't stop laughing.
But you would think, though, like I pressed the popcorn button and walk away. But as I'm walking away, you might hear something happening in the microwave, like something that shouldn't be happening.
But you're 5. You don't know.
I don't know, man. Just went and did my own thing, came back, and everyone was like, what in the heck happened? Yeah. I caught the microwave on fire.
Fire guy.
Yeah, big fire guy. I almost burned the house down. Not even a year when we moved in.
Okay.
And over the weekend, you saw that B and Brett, my friend, he came over and he bought this grill guard. Mm-hmm. We put it on. So
looks good.
I think Friday we were talking about it. He wanted to get some new headlights for his truck because he saw mine. And I was like, yeah, I put them in myself. It took like almost 2 days. I could not
take the grill off.
I could not figure out how to take everything apart, but eventually I did, and I got it to work. And I'm kind of proud of it. You know, bought it, took apart my truck, put the headlights in, and then put it all back together, and it works. And so he comes over with this grill guard, and I'm like, what is it, like 7:30? I'm like, there's no way we're gonna be able to do this. We get the bumper off, we hang the pieces, the little mounting pieces on the front side of the grill, and then put the bumper back on, and then we hang it. We were done in about 2 hours. And I always thought the grill guards were like really heavy, like 250 pounds maybe, but they're really not that heavy.
It's like 150.
Maybe not even. I would say that the one that he had, I guess it depends on the grill guard itself.
That is true.
But the one, I mean, it's a full-size grill guard, and that one was maybe 110 pounds. I mean, I could hold it by myself, but it's kind of big and awkward to hold. But
if you get the aftermarket bumpers that are like the steel bumpers with the grill guard in it, it's like all in one.
Oh, the bumper is part of the grill guard?
Yeah, those things are like 600 pounds. Those things are fucking...
Yeah, those things are huge. But those aftermarket, I guess, stainless steel, super thick gauge metal. You've seen them on trucks. They got the bumpers on the front and back side. Those things are heavy. Those are some heavy duty bumpers.
Yeah.
Those are heavy.
If you get hit by that sucks.
But hey, I've completed 2 projects now on vehicles. It feels great. I guess the next thing I have to do is put in my subs. Just kidding. I think when I got my first car, I wanted to put subs in it. Like I wanted to put a because it was in 86, and so it was kind of old, and I wanted to put new speakers in it and be able to actually play my own music inside the car.
Yeah.
Never came to fruition, but I had this idea that I wanted to put speakers and subs in it, but
You're just not that guy. Not that guy.
I don't know. But then if I were to put subs in my truck, I don't know where I'd put them.
Yeah, because you use your under your back seat.
Yeah, I use the bench seat in the back to store tools and stuff, but I think they make it where you can put them underneath the seats, the passenger seat maybe.
Oh my god, bro! Just driving down the road, bumping, the shit would just ooze out of your ass.
There was this trip that I made with Brett, actually, with his brother Eric and one of his friends or two friends.
I remember he had two 12s or just 112.
I think just one. And on the way back, I had to sit on top of it because it was underneath one of the seats in the back right corner of the cabin. And on the way back, I was just buzzing the whole way back for an hour and 45 minutes. Yeah, that was a fun ride.
Yeah, you got out and just felt weird walking.
Yep. Did not feel the same. But it was a good trip. We went to Six Flags. It was fun. You do anything fun over the weekend?
Trying to remember. So much fun, I can't even remember it.
Clearly.
Today I was skateboarding and I actually got my 180 in. I got a 180 varial shove it and just a regular 180. Like just jumping on the board. Not like just jumping and twisting my body, like actually jumping with the board. One of them to shove it where I shove the board at 180, and then whenever I jump onto the board, I twist my body another 180.
So it wasn't airborne?
I mean, it was kind of airborne. I was airborne.
Okay, you were. The board wasn't.
Kind of. A shove it is when you just spin the board 180, and then, and a pop shove it is when the board goes in the air, but it's the same thing, but it's just kind of 45-degree angle spinning. With the shove it, it's just on the few inches off the ground, spinning it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I got a 180 varial and just a 180 on the board, jumping.
Nice. So you feel like you made some progress?
I've made definitely some progress because I remember whenever I first started, not like completely first, like once I got like a week or two in, I was trying to do all these like kind of crazy things, what they thought were crazy at the time. And I was just like, dude, how the fuck do you do this? And then
you just do it.
You just keep practicing. And you get more comfortable on the board. And it just kind of seems easier and you have a feel for what you're doing. And that's just with everything.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's a good feeling. I also had another thought. I think it was in the same day I was talking about the Epstein thing. Do you ever feel like you alter the way that you act and talk around certain people? Or the way that you interact with people is different based on who's in the room?
Sometimes. Not all the time. I try to stay away from that. I know exactly what you're talking about. But whenever I think about that, part of me just kind of thinks about the anxiety side of not being the same. And I was actually telling this to David earlier. I know someone that is so just like unaware of their surroundings. They don't realize what's happening, like when they're doing something, anything like that. And
what do you mean? It's like they're unaware of who's around them?
Like they can be obnoxious, not realizing what's going on around them. But sometimes I make myself unaware in public. Like if an awkward like door thing happens, I'm just like, sorry. And then like I just completely block everything out around me. And I'm like, okay, walk to the truck. So I can act different. That was a very specific example. But I guess whenever it's like two of my different friend groups are together in one place, and it's kind of like, do you have certain friends where you're kind of different with them? Like the vibe can be a little bit different.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So whenever there's just like 2 or 3 different vibes there, I'm just like, I'm going to pick one and I'm going to stick with it, or I don't know.
Yeah. I had that thought because I remember I always try to be myself and sometimes even figure out who you are normally is kind of difficult, but sometimes we put on this mask or this role trying to be who we think the people around us wants us to be. You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about.
So it's kind of hard to just be yourself.
Oh, I'm myself all the time.
Yeah. And I try to do that too, because I know in the past sometimes I've always tried to be who other people wanted me to be, or had or this idea of who I was.
I've been there.
And it definitely wears on you.
Yeah, it drains on you, not like emotionally, but mentally.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I just thought, like, even around friends, like really close friends.
Yeah.
And I think some people do this where they, they can be different with you than they are with most other people.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say any names, but it just feels forced. It just feels kind of fake.
Have you ever been hanging out with a friend and then like a different friend comes and then that the first friend is completely different? Like
when someone else comes into the room,
they're just
the atmosphere completely changes, and it's almost like you're talking to a completely different person.
Yeah, whenever that, I don't tend to veer away from that, but I kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture with it.
Yeah,
it can be irritating.
Irritating how?
The way that I'm not trying to like pick on people, but the way that someone can like actually do that in a way, because I've been in situations like that, and I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
just like be yourself, like.
But you know what I mean? Like sometimes it doesn't matter where you go. Sometimes you'll put on a face to go to the grocery store, or you're going out in public, or whether you're hanging with your friends or not. But like, there's always there's kind of this person that you pretend you are.
There's three faces.
Okay.
According to Buddha, I think it was Buddha, but there's three faces. There's the first face is the face that you show everyone, the entire world. There's the face that you show your friends and family, and then there's the face that you don't show anyone. And that's just speaking like for like who you are, and like.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I feel like we do that naturally. I feel like that's not something that we learn to do. When you might learn what kind of face that you want to put on, but naturally we feel, well, I wouldn't say in all cases, but we feel the need to not disappoint. I don't know, or maybe.
Yeah, I feel that a lot.
To not disappoint.
It's not.
That's not a great way of describing it. It's just naturally, like in order to get the outcome that we desire within our interactions with people, we pretend to be someone else.
Yeah.
Or maybe the person you're trying to be is who the other people think you are, or who they want you to be, but it's not actually who you are. And I think the happiest people and the most satisfied people in life are the ones that are always themselves at all times, and they're okay with that because they know that they have their flaws and they know what they're good at, and they're just like, this is who I am, and that's it. End of story. I'm not going to pretend to be someone else for whoever.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be me. And either you can accept that or you won't. And I think a lot of people fall into that category where they're afraid to just be themselves because they're afraid of X, Y, and Z, right? And that's something that I've thought about a little bit, is trying to take that into account. Like, just being okay with just being yourself. Like I've always felt like I'm okay with that, but then I still find myself putting on a face for certain people. And it doesn't make any sense, because I know that I do this, especially with our grandparents, with Busha and Mima. I know that I do that I pretend to be super, not outgoing, but, okay with whatever. And I usually am okay with whatever. I typically am. And just being helpful at all times and doing whatever. And I don't know, now I'm just blabbing, but I know that face that I put on for at least for our grandparents. And I thought about, like, I feel like they see through that. I feel like they recognize that I'm not being genuine.
I am genuine with them, but I know that they see deep down, like, because they've lived a long time. They've seen,
and they know so much more than you do.
Yes, exactly. So I feel like deep down they know, like, like who you are and like what you do kind of thing.
Right. It is from what they heard and what they can see
Yeah.
from you, even in those times when you're just kind of playing the role, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't given enough credit to our grandparents for being as intelligent and knowing as they are.
Yeah.
Just like most, if not all people, have seen enough and know enough to see straight through you.
Yeah.
In any case, in a lot of cases, they just don't call you out on it.
Yeah. They'll just they there's people out there that can you say five sentences and they know exactly who you are, what you do, not like your job, but like what kind of person you are based off how you present yourself or like
Right.
first impression kind of thing. But I mean sometimes first impressions can be
But I feel like you and I can do that too. Like we were going out in public when we were meeting people for the first time, and you can tell, like, you start to get a sense from someone pretty quickly
that
sometimes
fucking bullshit.
that there's something off about them,
Yeah.
and you're just not going with it, right? So you can see that in people sometimes. That's noticeable.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be yourself at all times. Just be okay with
so
it.
Cliche, but like it's
Because some people still don't do it. Like they don't, and some people don't even recognize that they're doing it.
yeah.
It's tough, you know, because you know that sometimes you're not that person that other people want you to be.
You're not that guy.
Sometimes you're just not that guy or that gal. Sometimes it's just not the way it goes, and that's okay. And that's okay. But
Yeah.
then
There's other shit out there.
there's all kinds of stuff out there, and the people that care about you most and want you to succeed will be okay with whoever you are, and then just build from there, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to pretend.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
If dogs could like hear music and like listen to music, what kind of music you think dogs would like?
Classical.
Classic rock?
Classical.
Classical. Oh, I could see that. I like classical music.
They'd like Bittersweet Symphony.
They would like the verve.
They would very much like Bittersweet Symphony. But I don't know. It's kind of a good question.
Do you think they?
I guess it depends on the dog.
This is the stupidest thing I'm gonna say this episode, but do you think they would like Who Let the Dogs Out?
If they could understand what was being said, then
It would be
maybe, yeah, I guess.
that would be their turn down for what?
No, that would be their WAP.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. I mean, we don't know anything because dogs don't understand music, but in this world, they do.
Sometimes I've noticed I can talk to Reese, one of my dogs, and Piddle, and they kind of understand in a way.
Well, dogs, yeah, they understand commands. I mean, like having a full-on conversation with them.
Don't ask me what I do in my free time.
About to call you out, having conversations with the dogs.
Look, I gotta keep them updated on what's going on in the world. Hey man, big virus out there. Watch out. Wear a mask. You know.
But dogs can't get it.
The cat got it.
A cat got it?
Yeah.
A cat.
It was a long time ago.
I'm about to say, I think I remember the story. That was early on.
But I mean, that was early. So I mean, a lot more.
How many people do you think have tested their animals?
And we'll never know. But oh my god, I didn't get my dog tested.
I just want to wait. I want to wait 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and just let all the dust settle. And so you take all the politics and the paranoia and the hysteria out of what's happening right now and what's been happening for the last year and a half, and let the data come back and dictate what actually needs to be done instead of these knee-jerk impulse like, oh, that sounds good, let's do that, right? So when the data comes back, I mean, right now, I don't even have a very full perspective on the virus at all. The
We're
COVID.
coming up on 2 years.
Well, 2 years, yeah, 2 years would be
That's
November,
so-
December.
It's so crazy to think about that. It's almost been 2 years of COVID.
I know.
I just thought of that as I like sat forward and said.
Well,
that.
a lot of people have been saying that. Like, yeah, we're approaching 2 years now.
I haven't heard it or thought about it. It's an original thought.
It is an OT. I don't know why I thought OR, but yeah, I don't even want to have a full I mean, I don't mind listening to new information as it comes out, but just having, a nailed down perspective on what I think about it, I can't let myself do it because I know that things are going to change. And until things stop changing and we know just about everything that we can know about it, I don't want to throw anything out there. Right. So I try not to have much of an opinion on it.
I'm sure you've had a few opinions.
I still have one that might be controversial, but
you want to do just one episode where we just say the whole episode, the most controversial things we can say, and see if it doesn't get like demonetized or something.
I mean, it'll be something. I don't know, but I would say that my most controversial thought about the virus in general is the masks, dude.
The masks?
They don't work, dude. The only mask that actually has shown to work in the slightest is the N95 mask, those big white ones that people wear.
Mm-hmm.
But those blue surgical masks, the cloth masks, the bandanas, the whatever, they don't do anything in protecting you from inhaling the particles. The purpose of those surgical masks that people wear is to keep things from your mouth. That's why surgeons wear them. It's to keep things out of your mouth from entering someone's body as you're doing surgery on them, right? Because whenever
that's when they were made,
right? That's what they're for.
I know, but I mean, like, okay, yeah, that one is obviously a good example.
Because what you could do is you could put on one of those masks, and you can take a big old rip from a cigarette or weed or a vape, and it'll blow straight through and straight out. And the COVID particles are so much smaller than smoke particles, so much smaller. So I get it. I understand why people say that masks are important.
I feel like they do more than the credit that you're giving them.
But think about it, because
I have been thinking about it. That's a pretty controversial statement.
It is. I mean,
sir.
I know. I understand that it is, and that's how I feel. I mean,
I think they help. I'm pretty sure they help.
They could help. Maybe they do. Maybe, like I'm saying, I don't want to voice too much of my opinion if I have one at all. This is probably the only one about it that I feel somewhat strongly about. Because you know what? In 4 or 5 years, we might find out that the masks really do help, and they really, really did something. So that's how I feel right now. I'm not saying that that's how I'm always going to feel. If someone showed me like, yeah, here's a bunch of evidence that says it does work, and it's like 3, 4, 5 different studies that say, yeah, they work. I'm like, okay, well, I'm on Team Mask now. Well, I'm waiting for those 2, 3, 4, 5 studies to come out. So that's how I feel. And part of it, I think, at the moment, is just that it makes everyone feel better, right? It just makes you feel.
Honestly, I would say I feel
just for peace of mind, makes everyone feel more comfortable.
It does make me feel a little bit more comfortable. I will say that.
Do you feel more comfortable? Would you feel more comfortable if you were vaccinated or you got your COVID shots?
I am vaccinated.
Oh, really?
I still wear a mask. So get fucked.
When did you get your shots?
2 days ago.
Did you get your first one 2 days ago?
Yeah, I got Pfizer.
Okay.
What'd you get?
Pfizer.
Okay. Yeah, I still wear my mask just because they do say that even if you are vaccinated, you can still catch it.
Right.
The new strain. I mean, and that one's taking down people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. It's not just ruled out to old people. And
okay.
So, I mean, I don't want to die.
I don't think anyone wants to die. I think that's kind of why everyone's all freaked out.
There's at least one person that wants to die.
At least one.
There's got to be one.
But then there's people early on, they're like, I want to get it. Like, give it to me. Let's get it over with.
I did think about that because there are people in the world that actually just want to watch the world burn. Like, there are bad people out there.
Like the jokers of the world.
Yes. Think about the people that when COVID happened, they're like, oh my God, this is my time. I can fuck the world up. So they went and tried to get COVID. They got COVID. And so they just went in public spreading it, putting it everywhere they possibly can.
That's a dark thought, but I'm not going to say that that's off the table.
It has happened at least once. I can
tell you that
right now. That has happened once.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not saying I did that.
Are you sure?
I am very sure. I haven't had it.
Ever?
Not once.
Not one time.
I lived with someone that had it.
In the same house?
Same house. Dad had it for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Never got it.
You never got it.
I hung out with David. We smoked a blunt. His mom said that everyone in her work got COVID, and she took a test that day. Next day, he texts me. He's like, she's positive. He went and got tested the next day. He's positive. I went and got tested. Negative.
There's something going on with your immune system.
Got tested again. Negative.
Are you working out? Are you out in the sun?
No.
What do you
No,
eat?
I'm just
What are you eating? Corn?
Not corn from a microwave. I do eat. I don't eat as much as I should, but I don't know. I still get out. I get outside every single day. It's very important that people do that.
Your immune system sounds immaculate. What the COVID vaccine should be is your blood, your DNA, and you just donate it. Like, yep, this has worked pretty well so far.
That is actually a thought. I watched a video and read an article about this, that there is someone out there that cannot get COVID because it is in their DNA and in their genes that they are unsusceptible to COVID, and the vaccine would be created through their blood and their DNA, but we'll never know who that person is because they'll never get it.
We'll never know who that person is because they'll never end up getting COVID.
Yeah, because they can't get it. So the vaccine is already out there.
Well, right. So what if they're like, yeah, I've been in a room with 9 people who had it and they just coughed all over me.
Well, then there we go. Like,
then you got him. You found him.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we got him.
We got him.
Right. That could happen still.
It could.
But what happens if it's you? Then what's the next step?
I'm a fucking millionaire. That's what.
What, you sell your blood to the government?
Oh, y'all want the fucking vaccine? Let me see. I'm gonna need a TV. Some action figures. I don't know.
What if they come down here and just hold you down?
Yeah, then you have to think about it. It's the government. They're just going to be like, I don't give a fuck what this kid says. We can just tranquilize him and take him.
What if they find you and they're like, this can't come out, and they just
they whack you. Didn't even think about that.
What if they whack you? Because you know what? Pfizer, Moderna would be like,
they're making money right now.
Like, go get him. Go get that guy. Get him out.
Oh my God. There was a story about the first person that made the water car that was run off of like a hydrogen powered car, and it was in like the late 60s.
You sound quiet.
Oh, sorry about that. There was the first person to make a hydrogen-powered car was in the 60s and late 60s, and he told everyone about it, died a few days later.
Well, you think that technology would be readily available now. Like people would have figured it out.
Yeah, but you know what happens if you do that? No more need for oil.
Well, right. So that line of thought makes sense. But then if one person was able to figure that out and starts talking about it, don't you think then a bunch of people will be like, oh, let's do it. Let's make it. So then now, if he figures it out, then a bunch of people figure it out simultaneously. See what I'm saying?
I mean, then they're like, well, y'all heard what happened to Larry. I don't know if that's his name.
Okay, let's just say his name's Larry.
You heard what happened to him. He made it. Everyone was on board.
And then he was gone.
Died 2 days later out of nowhere. No one knows what happened to him.
That's the thing that's just so weird about the government. Or not even the government, but just like really powerful people that don't want you to do something that...
Yeah, money controls the world.
Oh,
and
yeah.
One thing...
What if you come out with a new trick? Let's say you come out with a new skateboard trick and it's just like revolutionary, and then Tony Hawk comes and he's just like, He's like, no, this ain't getting anywhere. Tony Hawk knocks on your door and says, can I talk to Major, please? Are you Tony Hawk?
We've been trying to contact you about your car's extended warranty.
No, not your extended warranty. About your new trick. So then Tony Hawk puts you in the ground. Then what? I mean, you just completely dismantle his career. Because you're like, yeah, Tony Hawk, you didn't think of this trick. I did. And guess what?
Well, Tony Hawk invented it. He invented the kick flick, like twist it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's that trick and one other trick. But Rodney Mullen is actually the creator of street skateboarding as we know it.
Really?
Street skateboarding is anything you see where they just jump like an ollie, kick flip, grind on a rail. That's street skating. Even though people do it like like a skate park, that's all street skating.
Yeah.
So Rodney Mullen pulls up to my door and he's like, hey,
Right. Right.
pulls a fat cigar out of his mouth.
Out of his mouth.
And he's like, hey, son, listen to me.
That was math. Okay, I see what you're saying.
You do that again?
Is that how he talks?
I don't fucking know.
I feel like that kind of goes with anything, like the technology that we talked about previously about how some researchers came up with some bacteria that can eat plastic and turn it into water.
Oh, yeah.
What happened with that?
Dead 2 days later.
I don't think that's actually what happened.
I don't think that happened, but honestly, I think
There's so much shady stuff that goes on. It just grinds my gears, man.
One thing, I don't know for sure. Like, I'm not saying I know, but I don't think for sure. But if you think about it and how long we've spent and put money into it, do you think the cure for cancer could have been found by now? Like, because
We say cure because it's all encompassing.
That is true.
We say cure as in a way that there's a cure for polio.
Yeah.
Or there's a cure for something else. Like, yep, that's it. That's the answer. We have it. But sometimes there's not really a black and white answer, like we talked about before.
Okay.
I think in the case of cancer, I don't think that's gonna happen. Just because the nature of cancer. I think over time, because of the amount of money that we've put into the research for cancer and how much we've learned over time, just the dedication trying to get to that quote unquote cure has created some really specialized procedures in dealing with different types of cancer.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of the direction that cancer research goes. And that's the most effective. But one fits all cancer cure, I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Yeah, that is true because there's cancer for every part of your body.
Oh, yeah. Just wherever your cells can mutate.
Yeah.
And you have cells for every single piece of tissue, every organ in your body.
So actually in our family, me and Brandt are the only ones that have like a lump on the back of our neck.
Not the back, it's like the side. Is it just me and you?
Yeah. And for the longest time, I thought at least it was cancer.
I thought it was my lymph node.
You thought it was your lymph node?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went and saw a doctor. You know what he told me?
What did he tell you?
It's a fucking lymph node.
That's what I thought they were.
Yeah. So everyone has lymph nodes. They're all over your body. They're just in random spots. And me and Brandt decided to have the same one. And then...
Is yours on the back of your neck? Because mine's like on the side of my neck.
Yours on the side?
It's like right next to this muscle.
Mine's like at the bottom of my hairline.
Yeah, I've always noticed it was there. I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool bump.
It's a giant pimple.
I always thought that lymph nodes were just like you get your tonsils removed. That's something that people do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone that got their tonsils removed? Because I don't think anyone in our family did.
I don't think we did, but I know a few people have.
What's the point of tonsils?
Since we don't really use them anymore, they fill up with bacteria and you get infections and you get sick.
So we use tonsils at some point in time, but we don't use them anymore?
I'm pretty sure we don't use them. They just collect bacteria.
How do you spell tonsil?
Tonsil.
Tonsil. Okay.
I don't know why I knew that.
You can get tonsil stones?
Yeah.
Gross.
They're in the back of your mouth.
A lump of calcified material.
Have you ever seen the videos of people taking lymph node or tonsil stones out of their mouths?
No, I have not.
You just take a Q-tip and like poke the side of your cheek, and like a little white ball pops out.
Ew.
Yeah, I think I have some. Like I feel like I can feel them.
So basically, you get your tonsils taken out if you have tonsillitis.
Mm.
You know what that means?
Itis is just bad for anything.
Itis is swelling.
Ah.
So itis is swelling. So basically, if your tonsils start to swell in some way,
anusitis.
Hope. So if you got tonsillitis, it would cause problems like sleep apnea. So it'd be hard to sleep, hard to breathe because they were swollen. I want to be sure. I'm pretty sure the itis is the suffix that means swelling. Yeah, inflammation. I was right. So itis just means inflammation of something. Man. Would you ever try to ride a deer?
I have tried to ride a deer. I've been trying to ride a deer for like 5 years. Oh, sorry if I screamed. But I have been so fucking close to riding a deer. Not riding, touching.
Touching a deer.
Over the last 5 years, I've probably become like less than 5 feet from a deer like 3 or 4 times. I know exactly how to approach them. I know exactly how to keep them there. They just don't let me touch them. I just want to poop its nose.
You want to touch its nose?
I want to poop its nose.
What if have you ever tried holding food or something that they don't want to eat?
Grass. They fucking love grass.
I know they love grass. What if you had like blueberries or something? Have you ever tried that?
One thing I've noticed is like dogs eating like blueberries or fruit. Animals don't really like fruit because they like to be able to like smell what they're about to eat. And with fruit, it's a lot of flavor. Sometimes there's not a whole lot of smell there. Like with blueberries, whenever I feed them to Piddle,
But then what does grass smell like?
deliciousness to deer.
So
Whenever I give Piddle a blueberry, if I give her a whole blueberry, she just sniffs it and she's like, nah, fuck that. But if I like squeeze it in my fingers and like smash the juice and middles out, she'll like lick that shit out of my hands and eat that. She loves it.
but she won't eat the actual blueberry.
Like if she won't crush it in her mouth, no, she cannot comprehend that.
So that's what I'm saying. Approach the deer with some crushed blueberries and like get close enough where you can poop its nose.
I mean, it's happened like I've gotten less than 5 feet in the last 4 years, 5 years.
Okay.
So like, I guess I just have to have crushed blueberries in my back pocket all the time because these moments come
Pocket blueberries, you gotta have them.
rare.
I mean, what happens if you get hungry, right? Now you got some pocket blueberries. What does a deer buy? You have pocket blueberries.
We need to copyright that.
Pocket blueberries. Just make sure they're not in your back pocket so you don't sit on them.
I'm really on board for this. I can already see a logo in my head.
It would make more sense to like put them in a Ziploc bag and then put them in your pocket.
No, we're gonna come out with pocket blueberries.
Pocket blueberries.
Pocket blueberries.
We have Shaq. Sell it for us.
Shaq selling pocket blueberries.
Shaq berries. Have you done any more research on your Shaq tar?
I still can't figure out who I need to speak to.
Go talk to Fender or whoever you have to that makes acoustic. Would it be an electric guitar or an acoustic guitar?
I'm thinking electric.
An electric guitar. Okay. So go talk to some.
But I mean, if you think about it, now that you presented acoustic, kind of
That's what I thought. That's what came to my mind first when we were talking about the Shaq tar.
a 3D.
I mean, the electric guitar would still be 3D, but it would be more flat. But then
Yeah.
that acoustic guitar, that's going to be
Yeah,
a big O.
some depth.
Yeah. That's going to be a big O guitar. So go talk to someone who makes guitars. Be like, hey.
Okay, so what I was thinking is the body of the guitar is a Shaq face, and
Yeah.
then it just has a neck. And
A super long neck.
and then, but what if you did the whole body, like head to toe is the guitar, and it could be a flying V.
A flying V?
You know what that is? The guitar that has the 2 split legs.
Oh, yeah.
That's
You're saying his legs would end up being the body of the guitar?
or like where the bridge is like his waist.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. That would be super cool.
And it's him dunking.
So then it would just be a weird, like, long-looking guitar. I would say just stick with the Shaq head as the body,
Yeah.
and then make it the Shaq tar. And approach Shaq and say, hey, I made this. Let's make some more. Will you sell it? We'll split it 50-50.
I need to see something.
I think you're on the right track with the Shaq tar. I don't know if pocket blueberries will sell as well. Because then who do you get your blueberries from? Who's your supplier? Just anybody? Just some random company you find in the grocery store?
Okay, so I looked up if Shaq knows how to play guitar, and the first like 4 things is Shaquille O'Neal smashed a guitar. So
He knows his way around a guitar.
that was 2014. Maybe he's come back around to guitars.
I don't know that he hates guitars. They never said that. I just said he smashed one.
Yeah.
I think he's always open to a business proposition.
Oh, for sure. Any professional, like multi-million-dollar professional athlete they're just businessmen.
Right. And so then, I just had this idea. Like the body of the guitar It's a shack head, but then it's acoustic. So then the hole would just be his mouth, just doing something. Like you can just pick like a viral moment, or like just
No.
of him, like him dunking. He's got his mouth open. Oh yes, making a face.
Yeah.
You can make so the shack face would be him making a face.
Get it 3D printed.
Why would you 3D print a guitar? Make it out of wood.
I'm not a carpenter.
That's what I'm saying. Go to someone who makes guitars and say, I have a custom guitar I'd like to make.
Okay.
And I want to make 1,000 more. Just like it.
And you're doing all of them.
You're going to do it
by hand, by yourself, in the dark corner, listening to REO Speedwagon the whole time. Maybe some Police. But no Journey.
I think you can stop with REO Speedwagon. I think that it'll put him in his place. REO Speedwagon, that's just grind music. You're on a grind, listen to REO Speedwagon.
But I mean, if he fucks up that guitar, he's just going to listen to the DirecTV remote control guide.
Or the Spotify, listen to 30 more minutes, ad-free.
Listen to this ad to get 30 minutes of ad-free music.
Just listen to that on repeat.
Oh my God.
I love this song.
I would put a drill in my head.
What do you think the future? I just had this thought. What do you think the future of like DirecTV satellite TV is? Do you think that goes away?
I think satellite, like cable TV, is gone in like 10, 15 years.
I think way shorter than that.
Okay.
I think, obviously with the pace of
Netflix, Hulu,
Disney Plus,
Amazon, they own all of it. They own everything. Because Hulu has because the thing about cable is all the things were like HBO and all of those, but Hulu's done partnerships with HBO and Netflix has partnerships with whoever. So all of the businesses and the people that run cable TV already have their lifeboat, their raft to jump off satellite TV and kind of move into the new era.
Yeah, because I feel like what's going to end up happening, because we still have AT&T Uverse.
Yeah.
And so we still get the channels, right? You get Fox and CBS and whatnot, but you can still get that on the internet, right? But then all the other channels, like the one that Dad watches, like the car show, the Graveyard Cars, the
Pawn Stars,
the Spike TV, TNT.
I'm sure there's some streaming services that have those on there.
I feel like a lot of these channels have already put in works the ability for them just to go completely online if you want to watch any of their stuff.
Yeah.
And then as a whole, AT&T Uverse and whoever still does satellite TV as a whole is just going to be gone.
Gone.
And I think that's going to happen sooner than you think. Because, I mean, obviously that's what sells. It's just like...
But you also have to think about it. All of our grandparents and the age group of like 50 to 80 right now, or like 50 plus, they all grew up, or not grew up with, but they were alive whenever the TV was coming out. So all they've known is cable and satellite.
But that generation's going away.
Yeah, it is over time.
And so then as our generation grows up and bends, and
that's why I said 10 or 15. I don't think it's going to happen in 5 years.
Perhaps.
I would say it happens in 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
You want to bet money, bitch?
I don't want to bet money.
I will bet you schmeckles.
Okay. And this conversation also reminds me of a video that I was watching last night. I was watching Matt Damon do Hot Ones. I was like, oh, this is interesting. I've never seen him do it before. I like Matt Damon. I want to see what he's like in person because I don't really have a good idea. And he had this interesting thought that he shared, is that because the question that, and I remember his name now, Sean Evans. He's the Hot Ones guy. And he asked Matt Damon, so what happened to the movies that you used to make about 10 years ago? Why have movies changed so much in the last 10 years? His answer was kind of long, but he said it mostly had to do with how DVDs have gone away. Because as DVDs don't really exist anymore, they're pretty much obsolete. No one really has a DVD player in their house anymore unless it's just kind of sitting there and collecting dust. These studios that make these movies can rely so much on making their money back through DVD sales. So like, let's say they spent $50 million trying to make the movie, And in the movie theaters, they only made about 35 million. They didn't even get all their money back, but they know that on the DVD sales, they can at least get their money back
Yeah.
and then some, right? So they can rely on, not doing so at the box office, but that's selling more in DVDs,
Yeah.
right? Mailbox money. And because of this, it's become increasingly more difficult, because it's just the way that streaming works. It's become so much more difficult for studios to make, as he called them, gambles, because really it is a gamble. One of these studios and
when
producers,
they put $100 million into their cast,
whenever they put all this money into this movie, just hoping that it gets back at least some of the money that they put in.
Yeah.
So these movies that you would watch typically, that some of the more famous ones that like on DVD, like I'm trying to think of some famous DVD movies, like Hitch. I feel like Hitch is a famous DVD movie. Or the Austin Powers. Austin Powers probably sold so much.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura just in DVD sales, right?
Yeah.
So making a movie like that, making a movie like Ace Ventura again, kind of probably wouldn't happen. At least not in the same way. It wouldn't be the way that it is, just because there's going to be so many people trying to put their hand in it and trying to make it approachable where people want to go see it.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of it, because after the movie theaters are done showing it, and that's pretty much it, because then
it goes on to Netflix.
It goes on a streaming platform. I don't know what the terms are for the streaming services. It's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
How they make their money back in that way. But yeah, that's kind of the reason why movies have kind of taken a turn as a whole. They just seem like they're more catered towards everyone. And there's still a handful of directors and writers out there making movies that, they're making a project that they really want to make. And it means a lot to them, and they want to make a really good movie. But then the majority of the time, there's these movies that come out that don't really apply to anyone. They're just these kind of, I'm trying to think of a good example, but it just feels like, especially in comedy movies, at least the ones that come out as of late in the last 5 years. That was also a thought we had the other day, was that it just feels like there hasn't been any funny movies that have come out in the last 5 years.
No one wants to go over the edge and like say the wrong thing.
Well, not that, but just it just feels like it's so cultured. It's so put together.
Yeah.
It's not.
Comedy movies aren't meant to be like out of the park acting and stuff. Like the acting isn't even, like in some of the better comedy movies, the movie isn't even that good. It's just meant to be funny.
Right.
Kind of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Like they're not going to make a movie like that.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, because it was so. If you go back and watch Fast Time again, you would, and not to say that it's an amazing movie. It has its flaws, but like it's still funny. It's still hilarious, especially you watch it the first time. It doesn't really have like a plot. I've talked to this before.
Yeah.
Like it just kind of like it just goes. It doesn't feel that planned out. It doesn't really like feel like the script is really nailed that way. But it's just supposed to be funny, and that's really all it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right. But then everything just feels so structured in movies, and that's okay to have structure, but it's
not the same.
I don't know. It's hard to say, but it does feel like there's been a drag on movies as of late. Because like I said, there's still writers and directors that are making great films, and I'm really excited for Dune. Denis Villeneuve, his remake of the original movie from 80. I want to say it was 80, but then it was also based off the book, Dune. That looks incredible. And Blade Runner 2049 that came out in 2017, that was an awesome movie. It didn't do so well in the box office, but that's kind of the same idea. It's the same principle, where if Denis Villeneuve makes this incredible movie that doesn't really do well at the box office, now it's kind of hard to make that movie the same kind of movie because it didn't do well, and people don't want to put all this money into a movie that doesn't sell well.
Yeah.
Because you can go back and look at Denis Villeneuve's movie. I think he spent, I think it might have been in the 100 millions, but then it didn't even get all its money back in the box office. And that movie's incredible. And not to say that people, I didn't see it in theaters, but a lot of people didn't. And I'm watching it again and again and again, and it's still really, really, really good. And so, yeah, so they spent, I take it back. They spent somewhere between 150 to 180 million to make it, and it says that their box office was about 260. So they not only made their money back, but they made some more. So it was a profit. It was a good movie as a whole. But it's still that kind of that same premise, right? making a really good movie like this. It's got kind of a big budget that not a lot of people can follow always, but so I know I just rambled for nonstop for like the last 5 minutes about.
Just blew my ears off.
I know. But the example that Matt Damon used was, the typical romance couple rom-com type deal with a good story that, a script that they like, that they want to do. It's kind of harder. Like, movies just as a whole aren't the same without the DVD after release, right? Because the studios don't feel an incentive to make this investment in, whatever movie, and then the movie just kind of never ends up getting made because they aren't guaranteed, or the odds of them making their money back or even making a profit.
It's all business.
It's all business, and that's just how it is. He also said something interesting too about how the studios, I guess he said, he kept mentioning five studios. I guess that's the main 5 studios in Hollywood. They have a list of actors and actresses that are basically the money bags. They are, you put them in the movie and there's a good chance you're going to make money on that movie. And it changes. People go on the list, people come off of it. He didn't say this, but you can go ahead and, without a doubt, just say The Rock is sitting at the top.
Robert Downey Jr.
You could say that, right? But I would just say, not even close. The Rock is at the top of the list. Like, you put him in a movie, the movie's going to make money.
Yeah.
But
it's so brandable.
He said it's funny because after he made X movie, I think in the mid 2000s, he kind of felt like he was on this downward trend. And you'll know if you're on that trend or if you're on that list or not, because if you don't get asked to go do a bunch of movies, if you're not getting any offers to go do movies, you're like, oh, I'm probably not on the list. But then if you get asked to do one movie, odds are you're getting asked to do a bunch of other movies at the same time too, because you're probably on that list. Which is interesting. I mean, it kind of opens you up to like the business. What?
Say that again?
He was just saying that if he wasn't getting a bunch of offers to do movies, he's probably not on that list.
Okay.
But if you are on the list, not only are you going to get one offer, you're probably going to get multiple offers to do movies from different studios.
I don't know why that brain fucked me. I thought that was some kind of like philosophical.
No, there's nothing philosophical about it, because like if you're on the list, there's probably a bunch of studios that are going to reach out to you and say like, hey, and it almost seems like they all have the same list of names.
My mind was in a different place. Dude, my mic went up to like my regular volume when you did that.
Well, it was better than me just coughing straight into my mic, so it had to be done. But I love movies. I could talk about movies all day long.
You know, I could talk about all day long.
Skateboarding,
boobs,
weed. You probably could.
Weed?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Minecraft.
You could talk about Minecraft all day long.
Baseball.
I probably could. I don't know that you could. Just because I've been following it recently.
Yeah. I don't know a whole lot to like keep the conversation just keep flowing, but I can talk about baseball.
Do you think Mike Trout is the greatest ever?
Not the greatest ever, but he is definitely 100,000% going in the Hall of Fame at the top.
Did you know that Mike Trout just turned 30 years old?
He's 30.
He just turned 30. He has, I think, 314 career home runs. Right now, he's hurt.
Damn, what does he have?
He's been hurt since, I guess, the beginning of the season. He hasn't played it, I don't think, at all. I think he's played in one game this whole season.
Damn.
He's been hurt. And he's supposed to come back soon. That would be great. It's great for baseball if he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
At 30 years old, he has 314 home runs. At 30 years old, Barry Bonds had 270 something.
Damn.
So not only would Mike Trout, not only is he
on course,
on pace, but then Barry Bonds played for a long time after. I think Barry Bonds retired when he was like in his 40s, maybe. I'd have to look at it, but I think he played for a long time and he kept cracking home runs left and right.
Yeah.
Not to say he didn't do it legally, but in order to beat the asterisk, how do you say that? Asterisk?
I think it's asterisk.
Asterisk record. And to do it without cheating. Not to say that Barry Bonds did, but I'm not saying that he didn't.
Can you prove that Mike Trout's not cheating?
I'm sure that Mike Trout has taken plenty of drug tests over the last 10 years he's been playing baseball professionally.
Yeah.
You could say that. I mean, going out and doing what he's been doing, yeah, I'm sure he takes drug tests on the daily.
Probably.
Yeah. Because that's what's funny.
God damn it. Think about that. Wake up Gotta pee again. I mean, before you,
It's like, oh, I hate peeing.
no, like you can't even go to the toilet. You gotta go pee in a cup before you.
Yeah. I mean, that's the life of being one of the greatest athletes on the planet.
Yeah, he's cheating. Prove it.
No, he's not. So then I mean, I've told you, Joey Gallo went to the Yankees and Anthony Rizzo went to the Yankees. The Yankees are actually winning games because they have not been winning.
Yeah.
I mean, up until this All-Star break, they were underperforming terribly.
Yeah, they were under.
And people were calling for Aaron Boone's head, saying, get him out of there. He's the manager of the Yankees. And so I think the Yankees are like 4 games back out of first place. It's really close. It's Rays, Red Sox, Yankees, and then Blue Jays. I mean, those are all good teams right now. The whole AL East is stacked. They're all really good teams. But, yeah, it's exciting. We'll see how everything shakes up.
Who do you think's winning the World Series this year?
Hard to say.
The Padres have come together in the last 3-4 years.
Not 3-4 years, like last 2 years. 2 years, they were not that great. And then last year, they were okay. They weren't that good. And then now they're top 5.
They're killing it.
They're top 5. I mean,
honestly, I would love to see a Padre. I don't think they have a World Series.
I don't think they do either. I don't think the Padres have ever won the World Series.
I would love to see the Fathers get a...
The Fathers. I want to double check real quick. I'm almost positive they've never won the World Series.
There's them and one other person. I think it's the Rays have never won a World Series either.
Yeah. Since 1969 when they were founded, they have never won a World Series. They were there in 84 and 98, losing in both.
Damn.
In 98, they lost to the Yankees.
Wow.
Yeah, because the Yankees did a three-peat. They won in 98, 99, and 2000.
Yeah, they went nuts.
And then 2001, they went back to the World Series, and then they lost in Game 7 to the Diamondbacks.
Oh, yeah.
Diamondbacks. I think the Angels won the next one. But, yeah, Padres have never won a World Series. There's someone else, too. The Nationals just won it. Let's see. Who has never won a World Series other than the Padres? Oh, Mariners.
Oh, what? Wait, is it not the Rays?
The Rays have never won one either.
Okay.
Rangers have never won one either. They've been there twice. They were 1 out away in 2011.
Yep.
I'm not going to forget that ever. The Brewers. The Brewers have never won one.
Really?
Brewers have never won one. And then the last team, who do you think the last team is who's never won a World Series?
The A's.
No, they've won it. They won it in 89.
I wasn't alive in 89.
Neither was I. Rockies.
Orioles.
Rockies.
Really?
Yes, Rockies. I think the Orioles won it in the 80s. Could be wrong, though. Let's see. They won it. Yeah, they won it in 83. They won it in 70. And they won in 66. Yeah, the Orioles have won 3. But 83 was their most recent one, which, I mean.
So in 66 and 70, they probably had a good half of the same players.
Probably. You could assume so. But then that's also the same case of,
the Yankees three-peat. It's probably 90% the same roster.
Oh, of course. I mean, I was thinking towards 2010 when the Giants won it, and then in 2014 when they won it. In that 4-year span or 3-year span. I mean, most of the key players were still there. Madison Bumgarner, who was I think the MVP of 14. Lincecum.
Was he there in the first one? I don't know if he was.
Yeah, Lincecum was there in 10. Bumgarner was the new Lincecum in 14.
Yeah.
Buster Posey was there for both.
Yeah.
Because they won it in 10, 12, and 14. They won 3 World Series like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Then they kind of fell off. Giants haven't been super relevant, are they?
Are you kidding?
Am I missing something?
Holy cow. Where have you been?
Under
the Giants are good.
All right.
I think the Giants have the second best record in baseball right now, and they have almost the entire season.
They are a giant.
Well, that's the thing, though, is you can say that because they're the same case as the Padres. A season ago or 2 seasons ago, they were not good. They were pretty bad. And then they're one of the bigger surprises of the league this year is they are good. Let's see. What's their record? They're first in the NL West. So they're beating the Dodgers in record. Right now they are 58-32.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty dang good. That's better than just about every other team in the league. So yeah, the Giants are one of those teams that just dark horse came out of nowhere. They're good. Only sad thing is Buster Posey isn't catching behind. He's been catching some of it behind the dish, but he just can't anymore.
Yeah.
But he's still whacking baseballs.
Isn't there the Buster Posey rule? Like, he was the last one that really set the strike for nailing catchers.
The Buster Posey rule, yeah.
Joe Mauer is a part of that too.
I think Joe Mauer was too. But really the rule that changed baseball in the way that you can charge a catcher was changed with Buster Posey.
Because he got dead.
Oh, he got leveled. And that was the thing, though. It was like the guy... I can't remember all the details. It happened about 5 years ago, maybe. But yeah, that was one of those rules that changed baseball. So yeah, Buster Posey was involved in one of those rules that changed the game of baseball.
Yeah.
Because it was like the Pete Rose deal in the All-Star game in the 70s, I want to say. I forget who the catcher was. It was in the All-Star game. And Pete Rose is just one of those guys. He was a dog. Like, he just went all out, even if it was an All-Star game, because you wanted to win the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And there was a ball to the outfield, and he's rounding to score. Pete Rose just lowers his shoulder, trucks the catcher. Catcher never plays another game of baseball ever again.
Wow.
In the All-Star game. I want to figure out this guy's name. Patriot team, because he was a really Ray Fosse. That's who it was.
I've heard that name before.
Ray Fosse. So Ray Fosse got leveled by Pete Rose in the All-Star game, and he was never the same player afterwards. I don't want to say for certain that he never played again, but he was never the same player. But anyways, I guess we can wrap this up if you'd like to. Done talking about baseball. Like I said, I can just talk about baseball all day long. I can just do it. I definitely had this period in the last year or so where I just kind of got away from all sports as a whole just because of COVID, and it just felt like even the Dodgers won the World Series in 2020. It doesn't really feel like they did because there's only like a 60-game season or a 70-game season, and then it's like, really? Like that. In my eyes, I'm not gonna say it doesn't count, and I feel like Dodgers fans would
it's
be
a half World Series.
It just it's not the same thing, because then you can put an asterisk next to the Dodgers World Series, but then you can also put the same one against the Astros, right?
Yeah, and
a lot of people would, and a lot of people do.
The White Sox, and then
right. So it's the White Sox. That
was back in like.
Did they put an asterisk next to the White Sox loss in the World Series?
I don't know,
because they weren't. I don't know. Anyways, but. I'm not going to say I would say I'm an Astros fan in much the same way that I'm a Rangers fan.
Okay, we were about to wrap it up.
I know, but I just, come on, just give me a second. Just give me a second.
Okay,
I'm just saying that because we can put an asterisk next to the Dodgers 2020 World Series, because it just doesn't feel like the same thing. You didn't play 162 games. The schedule wasn't the same. The playoffs weren't the same. I'd have to look at it because, and they were playing like 7-inning games. They weren't playing 9-inning games. It's like, well, you can say you won the World Series, but it wasn't like the other 100 plus before you, 130 before you previously. But then the Astros are kind of in that same bucket where, like, yeah, they got accused of cheating. It's like, well, they won the World Series, and it kind of came out afterwards that they were cheating. The last thing I'll say, and I'll be done, I promise, is that what people don't understand is that everybody in baseball cheats. Everybody does it, and the Astros just got caught.
They were the unlucky ones.
They got caught. Everybody cheats. If you can win and you can get away with it, so you think, if you can do it and get away with it, you're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it, because winning a game is winning a game, right?
Winning the World Series, that's millions of dollars.
There was something that Joe Girardi was talking about on the MLB Network when he wasn't a manager, when he was out of the Yankees and he was just kind of in between jobs. He was doing like sports casting for the MLB Network. They asked him this question. I'll never forget it. They asked him, like, phones in the bullpen or people looking at signs in the bullpen. And Joe Girardi was like, he said something to the effect like, I'm not going to talk about that. Like, we're not going to talk about it. I'm not going to say that we didn't do that. I'm not going to say other teams didn't do that. But there's always some kind of cheating.
Yeah.
Every team does it.
just another way to try and get the upper hand.
Right. And so
God, dude, imagine.
you can hate on the Astros, fine, but everyone does it. And you know what? When the Astros got caught, I guarantee you there were so many teams like, okay, let's back up. Like,
Yeah.
whatever we're doing right now, let's just take it a step back. Let's not get caught like they did.
Think about it. All the teams that do really shitty, they're just the teams that are really loyal to baseball. And
I don't know if that's it. I think they're just bad sometimes. That's okay. Every team has their struggles.
Are you saying you could go out on that mound and throw 7 innings as a starter better than them?
That's what I'm saying. I can't do that. I can't do it. I know
All
I
right,
can't.
Let's wrap this up. It's been a fun time.
All right. I mean, you don't have to cut it short, but it feels like you're cutting it short. I was really going on a roll there, just talking to myself about baseball.
Snip, snip.
All right. Well,
Catch us tomorrow.
mañana.
No Spanish.
I know some Spanish. Adios.